We are getting set up here for Selection Sunday. Just want to make sure everybody can join in and hears me. And we're just going to put out a little bit more marketing on this. And let's just do one Twitch shout out. All right, almost ready to go. Everyone, if you're here, just start writing in the chat so I can see you. And I do believe that there are going to be some ads coming up around the 7-minute mark. I have not changed that setting just yet. See if I can do anything about that right now. I don't think I can actually. Hey, first time chatters, welcome Saralu and Ron. Not sure how you pronounce that name, but welcome to the chat, Big Ev. We are going to get that blast of ads in the first 10 minutes. So let me just set a stopwatch from now. If you guys joined, let's say a minute ago, I'll set the 9-minute mark to take a little pause. So we'll say that works, not too bad. Yeah, can everyone hear me as well? Just had to put my AirPods back in here before we get going on the selection show. All right, that's good to know. Thank you for replying to that. Okay, so eventually when we get started here, you're going to see the results of the conference tournaments, the finals. I'm looking at the scores behind this image that you're seeing on the screen. So let's just get a few more people into the chat room. See who else is here. Okay, I'm just on my, if you didn't know, I'm from Canada, but I moved to Australia and this is my lunch break. So I do work from home. I'm going to be streaming right now and I can see the timer, well, when I should probably wait for the ads. I don't know why you would assume that. The actual rankings below are from before I pressed sim because I ended up putting in those into the overlay. What's up, Chuck? What's up, Blink? Blink is a Canadian represent. Okay, so I do know that there's like an ad blast in a bit, but that's not for another 7 to 8 minutes. So I'll take a little break as we move through. Probably between brackets, I'll do a little pause in between. But I think everybody's here now, enough to get going. And I think this is what we'll show first. So conference tournament results coming up. And then that's the only way to kind of go into the next phase. So yeah, okay, so here we go. I'm going to show now. Oh, don't need that screen there. All right, so here we go. What are you looking at? Well, congratulations to Notre Dame and the ACC. They're the champs. They won by 17 in that one against .xcuse Orange. And congratulations. Creighton has been a Big East beast for a while, Butler as well. But Kev has won the Big East. He's in the chat. Congratulations to you on that. What we can do is we can peek at a little box score here while we kill a little bit of time. And what happened here? We have, oh, the selection show is going to start here, so I wasn't able to see the results. If I go back, the show will start. Dang it. did anyone else see the other results? Oregon, I did see one. So Graham, I don't know what you're talking about. It looked like Oregon beat. And then what's the other one? Was it a Big Ten final? But this is going to start the selection show here. And I don't think I have another decent way to go back. Baylor won the Big 12, is that right? Okay. But anyways, here's the box score. Who got it done? Nero. Horner was shot cold, 2 of 11. And that's that. All right, so with that in mind, let's get into the Selection Sunday show. That's what we're here for, the other games as well. Graham's a pessimist. He thought he was going to lose. Made an assumption, was wrong. Yeah, congratulations all around to the winners. Notre Dame just continues to roll. Okay, so we definitely are watching the show. And again, I'm watching to see when there's going to be a lot of ads coming up for you guys. So I'll pause it after the first or second bracket. All right, so we're into the NCAA tournament. We're going to get some play-in games. Usually these are from the smaller conferences. Winners of the smaller conferences as well usually end up being in these games. So let's take a look at the first matchup. South Dakota, UNC Wilmington. So none of these are human-run teams. The AI makes a couple of teams here. So in Dayton, that's the first play-in matchup is South Dak, UNC. The next game will be Detroit Mercy and New Hampshire. So both teams under 500. They must have had a really good conference tournament. Must have been a pretty big upset. And we're looking at Detroit Mercy and New Hampshire in another play-in in Dayton. All right, Minnesota is in a play-in game. So Davidson as well, Daw Eggs International flavor at Davidson up against Mini. And Mini itself representing from the Big Ten. So these teams are technically in the tournament, but they will be in a play-in, Davidson and Minnesota. So congrats to Kev again for making the tournament. Next up after this, Toledo. I believe that's Chuck. And Towson, so 24-6. Towson, great record there. I don't think they're run by anybody. But Toledo's 22-13 out of the MAC. They are in a play-in game in Dayton. All right, next up, in East Rutherford, round 1. So the right to play Dame will be South Dak Wilmington, so no human teams have to face that onslaught. So that's a relief to many, and Dame definitely the top ranked team and just rolling at this point. And Bill points out that the Colonial has 2 teams in the tourney, so that is a fact drop. Not too aware of that. Okay, so next up in this East Rutherford bracket will be Zona. So Money Trustee, his second team, Zona he added recently, will be playing the Team Canada representation of St. Francis. So that is my only tournament team this year. And they've had a nice, pleasant conference win, and they've made the tournament and likely to get slaughtered. So there we go. What's up, Agalia? Welcome from your trip. Yeah, you'll definitely be able to check this one out. Shouldn't be too much longer before we go live. Next up, number 3 in that bracket will be Ago and playing Georgia Southern. I think Georgia Southern, it's Georgia State that's run by Coffee, I think. So I'm not sure that's an AI versus human matchup, but Tenney and Georgia Southern. Next up after that will be San Diego State. So my old school of recruits, whatever's left there, playing Belmont, and SDSU, the Aztecs, will be on the same side as Dame. All right, next up, Kansas and Colorado. So if Agalia is hearing this one and he jumped in from the Korean region, Then he has to play Max Zubnik's Kansas Jayhawks, 5-12 classic upset special there. I think we saw a lot of 6-13. No, was it 4-13 upsets last year? But 5-12 here. Also, when the ads start popping up for you guys, if you could just let me know in the chat, then I will slow down. Next up, West Virginia, UAB. So that's JL and UAB right now run by Dave Galindo. So that's a 6-11 matchup. And next up in East Rutherford will be Iowa State and the Zags. So Zags a good record, kind of an AI team trying to fix things after some human managers seem to have really caused them trouble. Iowa State's underrated. Blink had pointed out this school before. And they have LBQ. Okay, so this is the ad slot now. All right, so basically, we're just gonna hold off a little bit. I know everyone's gonna see and wonder why we're so slow, but I'll be talking a little bit about Iowa State. And a couple minutes here before we go live. So I'm gonna write in the chat instead, Iowa State with LBQ. A typo on that, LBQ there, underrated. So Blank is definitely gonna see if Iowa State's gonna show that. The Big 12, 7-10. Okay, so the ads are now wrapping up soon. Okay, so we're gonna move ahead a little slowly. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Okay, Gonzaga, Iowa State is the upset special. Blink's calling it right now. Blink's calling Iowa State with LBQ, taking out the Zags. So who's the last one in this bracket? Let's take a look. And Northern Iowa, Butler. So Butler at a 9, wouldn't want to face them. But Kid Coffee Black, 21-11 versus Northern Iowa. They're 8-9. So East Rutherford has been filled out, and we're going to move to the next region. Creighton, leftover legacy from the Big East. Surprised this is not UConn here, but you'd imagine UConn, I guess they didn't get the respect of the whatever they call it, forget, council or whatever, the panel. Creighton Rider is going to be the first round matchup here. Maybe UConn's year record, not so great. Maryland, though, that's a dangerous team. We got Coop Brown. We got a lot of recruits playing Florida Gulf Coast, so that's Graham's team. 15-2 matchup there. They're going to be tough press to try to beat Maryland. Okay, next up, Georgia Tech. This has to be some sort of ranking record for Blink, you'd imagine. So pause right here to talk about respect Georgia Tech. Playing the Gauchos of Santa Barbara, 23-9. That will be their first matchup, and Georgia Tech has a chance to continue to maintain their prestige here. Number 3 rank must be the highest that Georgia Tech has ever received. All right, next up after that, Incarnate Word and Louisville. So the Cardinal Bird battle going on. Cards, card on card. What's going to happen here? And Incarnate Word definitely has some interesting players with their SAT scores and stuff of that nature. Louisville, though, expected to be maybe a top rank, but they're in a very tough region here. Next game, St. Mary's and Davidson. So Chuck, unfortunately, St. Mary's team is going to have to run into, in all likelihood, Louisville. 10 loss Louisville. But Definitely going to be a tough matchup there. Minnesota Davidson, I don't want to take away from Minnesota, so they're also going to be trying to work their way against St. Mary's. OK State and SIU Edwardsville. That's Chuck's in the same region here. And SIU, we know Spider likes to talk about them. So Spider going for that upset, trying to see how that's going. Next up, it's a Louisville-Purdue battle. And Illinois run by Jedi and another Spider team in Purdue. So they're going to be trying to face Maryland, or in all likelihood, with a win there. Next up, the Bonnies. And you'd hate to face a number 9 ranked Florida team. So Bubba's in. The Bonnies are in. And Aggo and Bubba have to go head-to-head here for the right to likely play Crichton. They could get knocked out early. Upset special could definitely be on tap. So that's it for Detroit. Bundle up. It'll be cold that time of year. And that's that area. So Atlanta, let's move on. We're seeing Oregon face Furman here. Oregon just won their conference tournament. And they'll be looking to cause some damage, as that team was a bit underrated but has played very well. And after that, we are going to Syracuse. So they lost in the conference final. Syracuse then gets the chance to play Southern Utah, who no one owns. I'm pretty sure of that. But the number 6 Cuse Orange are going to be in this bracket in Atlanta. Michigan, a number 3 from Dave Galindo. Dave Galindo, Middle Tennessee. I'm not sure if it was dropped by Josh or not, but if so, that would be Josh. But going up against Michigan, 3-14 matchup. Next up after this, Temple, Princeton. So the Ivy League representation's there. Temple with a really, really strong season. They are owned, but I always forget who the owner is in this case. But Temple has made the tournament at the number 4 rank. So moving on, UConn is in this bracket. Number 5 rank, definitely after winning the Big East tournament. I'm not sure what happened there in terms of the rankings, but 9 losses may have affected that. May have to play Chuck if Toledo gets by Towson, and then the right to play Temple or Princeton. So the path for UConn doesn't seem too difficult to get to the Sweet 16. Next up there, Nevada is playing Bucknell. And Nevada, that's Jeremy R. So Jeremy R, congratulations. At one point, he was thinking whether to stay in the league. Really started to have a great time in the league. And he's in the tournament playing Bucknell, trying to face either Michigan or Middle Tennessee. All right, next up after that, Alabama, Ohio. Alabama, the 7th ranked and AI team, unrepresented. Ohio, also AI now, used to be run by Machine Earn Runs. They're going to try to see who will face likely Syracuse in that bracket. And next up, Tulane and LaSalle. Tulane with Rook. Rook, congratulations on making the NCAA tournament. Not sure if that's Rook's first team to ever make the tourney, but 24-8 is a great record to have. So that's definitely some of the best representation out of that conference. And LaSalle, also represented here, is going to be playing Tulane in that one. So really interesting to see how that goes. I believe we're now through 3 brackets. Number 1 ranks have been Oregon, Creighton, and of course Notre Dame. So last up, this is the last bracket to see if you make the tournament. Good luck to everybody after this. And that's Baylor, because they are the Big 12 champs, playing Detroit Mercy or New Hampshire. They are the other number 1, deservedly so. Got in within the top 5, the number 3 rank, and now Baylor is up there. Who's going to be the number 2 to join Baylor? VCU. So VCU, that was a Final Four run last year. Palmer, I believe is the guy's name on that team, who had a great run. And Abilene Christian is their matchup, 215, and see how that goes. But VCU is trying again to push their way into the deep rounds of the tourney. And at number 3, it's a wow, that number 3 ranks, they're giving them away this year, but deservedly so. Georgia Tech and the Sun Belt, a 30-5 school this year. Ool's in the chat, and congratulations, man. Sun Belt at number 3 overall. I mean, that to me is a remarkable. I don't think I ever did that with South Bama, and 30-5. So I'm really rooting for Coastal Carolina as a bit of a personal favorite here. So way to go. Duke, number 4, number 13, Alabama A&M. Another one of those low SAT schools that have some sting, have some talent. They have a Nigerian center who's doing quite well, playing Duke. And Duke is a leftover from Kujaba's friend, the kid KC, who's stuck around with us. He wants to see Duke do well. Duke ended up, I believe, well, they lost in the ACC tournament, but went the distance, beat Louisville in it, so a 4-13 matchup there. And Norfolk State. So when he says both teams, I don't know if he was predicting the future, but you just predicted your own team playing Buffalo. So I believe that's Warlords Buffalo Bulls team. That's 28-6. And Norfolk, which won the conference tournament, I believe over Coppin State. Norfolk State is in the tourney as well. And Uhl is just calling shots here, calling his next team. So that's a 5-12. They're both in the tournament. The Spartans, did not remember their team name, but there is the logo. And next up, the Seminoles versus Santa Clara and the Broncos, I believe. So FSU is going up against another one of Warlords teams. So that should be an interesting matchup. 10 loss is respectable in the ACC because of the amount of talent that's there. So Florida State, Santa Clara. And next up, we'll see Mississippi State. So the champs, Evansville matchup, the champs are in. So they have a chance to try to repeat. Now, I don't think anyone really thought Mississippi State was going to make it really maybe in the tournament. Maybe I'm just talking trash. But the champions are back in the tournament. And it'll be interesting if they play VCU. So those are 2 Final Four teams. Won a champion last year. But it's always interesting to have the champs back. So that's what we're seeing here. And we have one last bracket to go. Unfortunately, after these 2 teams are displayed, it's going to be the end. So we'll see. And the last 2 teams to make the tournament will be Missouri, Arkansas. So Warlord again, Spider again, and we have an SAC matchup, tough battle. They're familiar with each other, and they're going to have to play each other again in the NCAA tournament. So pretty sure that's it. That's all. So that's a wrap here, folks. That's the tournament this year. And congratulations to those that heard their team name called. Thank you, everyone, for coming in the chat. 16 strong viewers and being a part of this. So thanks again. I'm going to be closing this chat down. Let's go to Discord. And again, I'm going to post the website for anybody that's watching on the web. And let's all catch it in the chat room, discuss it there. All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.